Hi, this is Rick Baker with EvoOrganic, and today I want to talk to you about putting soil in the PC12. Really, this unit was originally designed to put potting mix or whatever your favorite soil media is, and the units prevent the soil from falling down into the unit below it or into the base, because we usually put some sort of pond filter or barrier down in the drain port. And as you can see, this PC12 has got filters stuck in the bottom. And so really all you need to do, now we experimented initially with different potting mixes. Right now we exclusively recommend using a high drainage potting mix. The reason is, if you use a moisture retentive potting mix in almost any situation, the units can get really heavy, they tend to hold too much moisture, and sometimes if you have drip irrigation here in the top, right now we have one set of drip tubes and emitters for two PC12s. Well, as long as they'll drain down through the units and into the basin and recycle, you're in good shape. But as you can imagine, you wouldn't put one set of emitters for 5 units high. It would just be too much drainage. And also, if the potting mix is too moisture retentive, then it tends to hold the water in and you don't get even water flow up and down. So basically we suggest using at least one set of emitters every 2 PC12s high, that you set up an insulation, and that you always use high drainage potting mix. And really, if you can't get Pro Mix HD or one of the blends out there, just make sure that it has a very healthy amount of perlite and vermiculite mixed in. You can do this by hand with any potting mix that doesn't have moisture control ingredient in it, and just put in about a third perlite and vermiculite, somewhere between 20 and 50%. We've seen very, very high usage of it, and sort of down to the 25% range. And so all you do really is you dump the soil into the PC12, and this takes a while, so I'm going to shortcut this and do a faster track on it. But as you can see, the dirt doesn't fall through the bottom unit. So one of the things that we're asked all the time is, well, if we put soil in this unit and we move from the bottom of this PC12 to this one and this one, won't the dirt fall out the front? And that's one of the big questions that we're always asked. We work with several engineers and designers to make sure that the angle of incidence of each of these shelf points was sufficient that the soil wouldn't fall out of the unit. So I've deliberately left this one unhinged from the back wall there. And if you look, even if we move this unit pretty far forward, you have to really lean it pretty far forward before any soil would come out. All the soil has sort of moved its way down to each level, and as it pushes through, it does stop falling, and you can basically put your plants in here, and it works pretty well. So you can use it hydroponically with something like rock wool or Sure to Grow, or one of the great hydroponic media. You can, as we've shown with the Aria hydro unit, you don't have to have any soil at all if you want to put an overhead style of emitter in it, or you can fill it up with potting mix. And this is especially useful if you have a long-term insulation outside or inside, because with ivies and plants that need a lot of roots, they're really going to be able to reach out and take a lot of rooting in this unit, so they won't get root bound in a pot. And there's about 2.5 cubic feet of space inside this unit. That's about a medium-sized bag of high drainage potting mix. And so there's a lot of area for each plant to sort of reach out and mature and grow and be healthy. And this is more of a planted wall. And as you can see, we've got a variety of different plants in this wall, and every 2 units we have a set of drip irrigation tubes, and as long as we use high drainage potting mix, it all drains back down into the basin and back up, and you can put together a wall like this in just a couple of hours, as long as you have the hanging brackets. Now we talked early on, I think in one of the early videos we showed a wooden hanging bracket. We've moved almost exclusively to this aluminum bracket. It's a lot stronger. It's a little more expensive than the wood, but in any situation, indoors or out, it's a lot safer. And as you can see, what happens with the aluminum brackets is the one bracket will come pre-drilled, and it's set up to align perfectly onto the PC12, and the other unit is undrilled. the one that you would put on the wall, since we don't know where your wall studs are. And you always want to hit a wall stud with the second bracket because of the weight of the units, and you don't want the vertical garden to come unhinged or fall off the wall. So it's just a basic discussion of how this works. We wanted to cover this use of soil specifically in a video and make sure that we were clear on it. So just to review the basic facts, make sure that the filters are on the bottom so that the soil doesn't fall into the base. Fill it up from the bottom shelf up to the top, and then plant your plants. And another trick is to try to make sure that you have the emitters free. You don't want to jam them into the soil because when the pump stops, there's a little bit of backflow. There's a lot of gravity that happens when the water falls back down into the basin, and there can be a little bit of air suck, back into the emitters, and you don't want to get the emitters clogged. We've done things like putting little socks over the emitters, or putting a piece of styrofoam on the end or something to keep dirt and dust out of the emitters. But we've used 1/2-inch tubing, 1/4-inch tubing, every kind of emitter imaginable, or John Deere and other great companies like Queen Gill and Elgo and Netafim make tremendous tubing with emitters built in. So all that stuff works just fine in the unit, and you can use any kind of drip and emitter system you want. And if you have questions about Aria, how the system works, anything at all from pump sizes to massive installations to the smallest herb garden you'd have in your kitchen, just email us. Check out our website, EvoOrganic.com, or call anytime on the toll-free line. So this is Rick Baker. Thanks for taking a few minutes to look at the Aria system.